Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm Courtney.
And I'm MK.
How are you doing today?
You know, I have had such a productive last 2 days.
Look at you.
I have sent so many emails and filled out so much paperwork. And honestly, I deserve a cookie, really.
You deserve 2 cookies.
But the most exciting thing is I very much find the idea of teachers who date their students' parents to be a big no-no. I find it weird. I find it creepy.
Yes.
I've, in fact, never really looked at one of my students' parents and been like, yes, except for one in Thailand, and that was a whole different story. But a couple of my summer camp kids who are younger than the kids I normally teach, which means that their parents are a little younger also, have parents that work in law enforcement. And when you're already decently good looking and then you put on a uniform, and I share this story today because of my deep and undying love for Sheriff Alex Romero. But
yes. I was indeed about to say that.
Today, one of the kids who, it's literally the first time I saw him, I was like, that's the only man I would ever date of a parent at the school. The first time I saw him, I was like, hello. He came to give a presentation to the kids today because not only is he in law enforcement, he is an environmental conservation officer.
Of course he is.
So he wears the little green uniform and hangs out with hunters and talks about endangered animals. So
right up your alley.
Hi, have you met me?
Yes.
And my boyfriend texted me, was like, how's your day going? I was like, I touched a fox pelt. He was like, how? Why? And I was like, and I just sent him a picture of Officer Shear and the fox pelt, and he goes, oh, got it. Because he knows that I'm like, I don't have a crush on anyone.
But if I did.
I could never date Officer Shear because his name is also George.
No.
So it's absolutely off limits.
Yes.
But I can look.
Yes.
And I can touch the fox. Not the fox that is Officer Shear, the physical actual fox.
The animal.
Yes. So it was a very good day.
That sounds lovely. Ish.
I'm a psycho.
It's fine. It's fine.
Which is also on brand Norman Bates.
You're not incorrect. You're not wrong.
Whew. How are you?
Well, I have a complaint. I am doing my Marvel rewatch, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I saw your Twitter, yeah.
I was going to say. So I finished Next after 2 years. This show in 2004 ends on the biggest cliffhanger that has ever been written on any show. They introduce a parallel character in the last episode, and the team is ripped apart to come back together. And that's the finale. I've been watching this show for 2 years because I've been very slow at it. And I have not cared about this show. Second season was good, but I didn't feel connected. The last 5 episodes, I was like, I am in. This is going to be a great ending. They're going to tie it up in a bow because they set it up that way. And then they introduced this whole other world and storyline that never even existed in the 3 seasons. And they're like, okay, bye. And I'm mad about it.
I am mad for you. Speaking of Marvel, though, I forgot to take any really good pictures on Friday when I cosplayed as Black Widow.
There, I love Black Widow.
I know, and I looked fantastic. Actually, I think Rachel might have a picture, so I'll see if I can get her to send me a picture of me with the kids. But I and my hair was down and big and curly. I looked exactly like Iron Man 2 Black Widow.
I need
The kids were like Miss Slodick, and then some of them called me Miss Black Widow all day. And they were like, Miss Black Widow, you look perfect, but you don't have a gun. I was like, I wasn't bringing a gun to school, guys.
Do you know where we are? It's funny.
But
so needless to say,
so Mutant X, shitty ending.
don't watch it. Don't watch it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the uphill struggle to get there. When it gets good, it just disappoints you on the other end. So just let it go. And I'm kind of probably slowing down a bit on my Marvel rewatch because I'm getting to what I'd like to refer to as the made-for-TV movies that were not made for TV, but that's basically how they were accepted into the universe. We're coming into, the 2004 movies that didn't go anywhere before MCU started. So we have The Punisher 2004, Elektra.
Is that one Hulk movie that had the comic panels in the movie came out?
I think that was the 2008 Hulk.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was the one that came out before that. The one with
Yeah, I know. I never know his name, but yes.
Yes, not the Edward Norton one.
Right.
Eric Bana. Eric Bana. That's who he is. Yeah.
Yes.
That one was terrible.
That would be the time for him.
Oh, good. So, that's a real shit era for Marvel.
So that's my Marvel made for TV era that I'm now lovingly referring to it as.
Perfect.
And that's fine. So I'm gonna get through that slowly but surely.
But then you'll be in MCU territory.
Then I'll be in MCU territory. And you just watch out. So I also, this is quick spin around. I think we've talked about how my friend does a Disney podcast called Climbing the Castle, where they're reviewing all the Disney shows. So I'm also very behind on his podcast because we know how quickly I watch things.
Yep.
And so I just watched for the first time ever The Black Cauldron.
Really? I love The Black Cauldron.
That movie's terrifying. Did you watch it as a child? Because if I watched it as a child, I would have been terrified.
Oh, I watched it as a child.
I would have been absolutely traumatized.
I wanted to be Gertie when I grew up.
I love Gertie. He's adorable. I want to be Elanwy when I grow up. But I
love it.
But yeah, I was like, this is a really good movie now that I'm 29 watching it. But I guarantee I would have been terrified if I watched it as a child.
I fell asleep watching Fantasia a couple weeks ago and woke up during Chernobog's takeover of the mountain and was like, how did I fathom this as a child?
I rewatched Fantasia recently, like I think a couple years back, and it's a wild ride.
I was like, whoa. Hello. Okay.
You know what else is a wild ride? Spirituality.
It is wild.
And today, this is good advice for the world. I'm not sure it necessarily applies to either of us today.
Okay.
Someone out there needs to hear it.
Yeah.
You don't have to rebuild a relationship with everyone you have forgiven.
That's deep.
It's good advice.
That is good advice.
I know. It's advice to like keep in your back pocket. Like, I don't know that it applies today to one of us.
No.
But like, it's good to keep in our back pockets. You know, it's going to apply.
Oh.
And it's applied in the past. So.
Correct.
So yeah.
I think I'm pretty good at following that advice. But like, sometimes I need to be reminded.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hit or miss.
You also don't forgive people, so.
We were just talking about how I've met one of our new staff members, who I guess is our 17th new staff member this year. And we got into a fuss yesterday, and I was like, okay, I don't like him. I've known him for 6 hours, and I'm over it. So there we go. That's me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
You know what I do like, though? Bates Motel.
I don't know if like is the correct word.
Well, like is a word. And And I don't dislike it for sure,
No, for sure, for sure.
but it's got a lot going on. We are on season 2, episode 9, entitled The Box. Your face. It aired.
Is it weird that when you say the box, I think of when Joel De La Fuente got trapped into the box and got beat as Doctor, what's his name?
Absolutely not. That is
Okay.
that tracks, because I also was like, we talked about something else about a box on this show.
Yeah,
Like
it was Hemlock
I was
Grove
like,
when it was Hemlock Grove when Doctor. Why can't I think of?
because you've always just called him Joel De La
Because I
Fuente.
just always call him Joel De La Fuente, his whole name, all of the time.
Yes.
When he was trapped in the box and was having flashbacks to his childhood.
Yes.
Weird box flashbacks.
Ugh,
Ooh.
neither is good.
Never get locked in the box. You will have traumatic flashbacks.
Yes, that is the bad part about being trapped in a box. The traumatic flashbacks. Not
The
part
good
where
part is the
you're trapped
roominess.
in a box. Let's start at that point. Don't get trapped in a box because that's bad. Traumatic flashbacks to follow. It aired April 28th, 2014.
That is my parents' 24th wedding anniversary.
It was like 8 years ago. And
was my parents' 24th wedding anniversary.
happy 24th wedding anniversary. It's nice. This episode, with good reason, was rated 8.6 out of 10.
No, I'm surprised it didn't break 9, to be honest.
I am also surprised it didn't break 9, but I think this is the highest one we've had. Like, I don't think it's really gone above 8.1 or 8.2. So
No,
it was still kind of a big jump. Like,
right. Okay. Fair.
Yeah. I would assume you can guess what the number 1 song is.
It is
Yes.
tragic.
It is tragic. It's happy. I am tempted to start giving you the number 1 UK song of the year.
Just because it might be different.
Just because it might be different. So we'll see how next week comes out. Maybe we'll move to that for season. Oh no, season 3 will be a whole new year. We've only got 1 week left. The number 1 movie was The Amazing Spider-Man number 2, which I have not seen.
Well, because you haven't gotten to that year in your rewatch yet.
Because I just watched the first one.
I have not seen that movie. I've just seen the death scene over and over and over again.
I was gonna say I assume that the death scene is in it, but I haven't seen it. So
Correct. Yeah.
But based on how the story goes, bound to be death.
Yeah.
So on this day is the day that we were cursed forever. More than 50 mummies were found by Egyptian and Swiss archaeologists in the Valley of Kings. They were the royal mummies. So they uncovered 50 royal mummies.
And what year was this again?
2014.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yep. So that's why things are the way they are, is because of these archaeologists here.
Dear archaeologists, fuck you.
Yes. And on a positive note, there was a song released this day. It was "Problem" by Ariana Grande.
I love that song.
I also love that song, and this is when I didn't know if I was gonna love her or not, and then I did. So it added up.
That's when I was like, am I the only person in the world who doesn't hate Iggy Azalea?
Oh, I like Iggy Azalea.
Oh, good. Me too.
Yeah. No, we used to I was like 2014. We probably used to go to karaoke and sing that big one.
Oh, yeah. Fancy.
Yeah. So it was like one of our go-to karaoke songs. Good times.
Good times.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into it. The director, Tucker Gates.
Yeah.
No shocks. Same writers. person we're going to discuss today, I thought 3 times I had discussed, but now I've realized I have not, and it is necessary to discuss him now. This is Michael O'Neill, who plays Nick Ford. I think you have briefly.
I have briefly,
asked
like, excitedly freaked out talking about him on this podcast before.
because of his Grey's Anatomy.
He was also he was the shooter in Grey's Anatomy. He was one of the Secret Service agents in The West Wing. I love him.
He is known for Dallas Buyers Club, have not seen. Seabiscuit, have not seen. Secondhand Lions, have not seen. What I have seen, Transformers, the original.
Yes.
I didn't even remember that because, I mean, you know, it came out in 2007. It's been quite a minute since I watched it.
Correct.
And for TV shows he's been on X-Files, which is fun.
Yeah.
And he was on Fringe.
Yes, he was on
He
Fringe.
played Sheriff Felchick.
Yes, he did. He looks like my dad and mom were watching me watch Bates last week, and they were like, everything he's in, even when he's a good guy, he looks like a bad guy. Like, he just looks like an asshole. And I was like, well, because in Grey's Anatomy he was a bad guy, but in West Wing he was a good guy.
See, I thought you were about to say he looked like my dad, and you said he looked like, and you said my dad said, but you put a weird space there. I was like, he does not look like your dad. They're very different.
No, he does not look like my dad. My dad has never had a mustache.
No. Your dad does not look mean.
No.
So, you know, doesn't look evil. So, yeah, There's that.
Correct.
So yeah, here we go. I had forgotten because it was a week and a half ago at this point, that we left off with Norman getting kidnapped.
I forgot that too, and I was so confused.
I immediately came back into it, but I going in. I was just like, okay, time for Bates. Turned it on, and there was I was like, oh my god, I forgot.
When they started showing the scenes from last week and he was wandering around the house looking for his mom, I was like, I don't remember what's happening. And then they showed the kidnap. I go, oh shit, yeah, I do. That happened.
Yep. And I was on the fence about who it was who kidnapped him. I was thinking it would be Nick Ford or Zane, depending on where we were going.
I was so sure it was Nick.
I was a little split on that one, but
I think I said in the podcast last week that it was 100% Nick because Dylan said leave my mom alone, but he never said to leave his brother alone, and I was like, logic circles.
Right. So you were correct. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Oh, so we come back from the scene, and it turns out they're just like, all these people have surrounded him. They're taking him in this car ride. They go off in the middle of the woods, and then we figure out they're just gonna bury him in a box.
I said, where the shit is this?
I was distraught that they were burying him in a box, regardless of what it is. Although I do have a theory, so we'll come back to that.
Okay.
And then the credits come on, and I was like, well, that was an intense opener. That was like, especially for
the fact that there was only one scene before the credits. I was like, ooh, this is going to be an intense episode.
And it was such an intense scene. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They got you in real fast. You had no time to prepare.
Correct.
And so we start out at the Bates home. And Norma is driving back from her one night potential multi-night stand with George, and she sneaks in really quiet because she don't want to wake Norman up. She's doing all of this, and then she changes her clothes to make it look like she was there, and his bed's completely made up and he is not there at all.
For those of you who are audio only viewers of this podcast, what you didn't see was my face for the entire time. Courtney just described that, because my note said, why do you feel the need to sneak into your own house? Ma'am, you are a fucking adult. I was just so disgusted by her.
But also, it's not like he didn't know she didn't come home.
Right. You guys got into a fight. You left.
and never came back.
How would he? No. And also,
I mean,
like, who cares? Who cares? He's 17 and you're an adult.
yeah, like I would probably try to be quiet coming in just for the sake of that's the polite thing to do is be quiet when you enter somewhere someone's sleeping.
Right.
But
Quiet.
like there's
Quiet,
no need
not
to sneak
sneaking.
around.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
No.
And so then she starts searching all over. He's not in his bed, he's not in the basement, and she starts realizing he's actually missing and starting to panic. And that is her state of being through the rest of the episode. Mm-hmm. She is just in a panic. She goes and talks to Emma and double checks that she doesn't know where he's at, and Emma is also in a fussy mood.
I was like, Emma's something weird is happening with Emma right now. I did not. That was weird.
She's feeling some kind of way. She is like feeling left out, and she wants everyone to tell her everything. And like, I get where she's coming from. They've kind of made her a part of their family, but also they don't know you anything. You're not actually part of their family, and this is like actually. It's not like they're like, oh, we're hiding that he went and did this crazy thing, and we like took care of it. Everything's fine. Like he got in a wreck or something. It's like, no, he's killing people. And Dylan's dad is Norma's brother who was raping her. Like these are the things we're keeping from Emma. It's not like mild things.
But it's not even, it's not even like the fact that like in this scene, and obviously she comes out and says why she's upset later, but in this scene, it didn't even make sense. She was just like weird. And I was like,
yeah,
what the fuck are you doing?
I know. And but yeah, and then Emma goes off on Norma about the way she's being concerned. And she's like, why are you so concerned anyways? Like, he's 17. I'm like, first of all, yes, he's 17. You should be concerned that he has not come, that he's not here.
Correct.
And no one knows where he is.
Correct.
But also, that's his mom. If she wants to be concerned, she has every right to be. You don't get to question it.
Just because you don't have a mom. Sorry.
Burn.
That was mean and rude, and I don't mean it, but also like get it together, girl.
Right. Fair. Yeah. So then we go back to the box, and Norman's just like in the middle of the woods in a box, and it is my worst nightmare in all of existence. So I didn't care for that.
Before I realized that there was in fact like holes in the box, and so that there was some kind of light and airflow. Mm-hmm. I literally, my note says, rule number 1 of being buried alive: don't struggle, you're wasting oxygen.
Yes, that is good advice if they don't put holes in the box.
Right.
So,
but I was like,
those of you who get buried in a box and there's no holes, do not struggle.
You will die faster.
Try not to get buried in a box.
Right, but like
if at all possible.
You will die faster if you waste air.
Right. No one wants that. No. I imagine.
Well, whoever buried you probably does, but
right. But you know, they might not even. They might be trying to keep you alive because they clearly didn't want him to die in this box.
Well, yes, but this box was not actually burying him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
So I started making predictions here about where we were going.
Okay.
I was only half right. I was like, what if he dissociates and then his adrenaline kicks in and he like busts through this box? Because like, how fun, but like not at all in the storyline would that have been? Like, I don't think, like, he's not a superhero. He's not superhuman or anything, and it doesn't really make sense for him to bust out of the box like he is. But it would have been epic.
Yeah.
So, and we flash back to a second of Norma calling everyone she's ever known to see if she can find Norman, and she's calling the theater, and she's like finding out he's not there, and they like are confused why she's calling, and it's just chaos.
Yeah.
I get it. Poor Norma. Like, she's not handling this well.
No.
And like,
has she ever handled anything well?
No. And speaking of things that have not been handled well, we go to a diner. And Alex Romero, this is our first our first sneak peek of him in the episode. Walks in and this old man sitting at his table. And I was like, this is the weirdest thing. I was like, we don't know who this guy is. Turns out it's his dad's ex-partner who's really good at conducting
Polygraphs.
polygraphs. I forgot the word for a sec. Oh, it's literally in my next sentence. Okay, it's fine. Yes.
I am almost embarrassed about what my note says.
I can only imagine.
Because the dad's ex-partner was like, oh, like your dad always used to like worry about how seriously you took everything. And Romero was like, I do have a lighter side. And he goes, I haven't seen it. And I wrote, I want to see your lighter side, baby.
MK.
I know. The feelings I have for this fictional man who runs a corrupt city and may or may not have murdered people in the past are like unfathomable.
But also, like, regardless of all of that, could you imagine how weird that would be to say to someone?
I want to see your lighter side, baby.
What even could that mean? Like, I don't know exactly where we're going to take that. So I guess it's a little lighter because it's hidden from the sun. But, like,
I really just meant him, like, cracking a joke, like, smiling.
But you said it very seductively.
I did.
Which makes it seem like you meant something else.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing his underside. That's weird. I take it back. I take it back. I don't mind.
Underside? I'm pretty sure that's how you refer to, like, animals. Like, I don't think that's how you refer to people. So someone call MK and tell her how to flirt with people. And
said one of us has a boyfriend and one of us does not.
Oh, look.
I promise I have never asked him about his underside.
I would say he appreciates that.
I'm sure he does.
I am a little concerned for his well-being moving forward. But
I was concerned for his well-being because he asked me out. Like, let's be frank.
That was step one to where we're at. And it's all going somewhere from there. I don't know the downhill's correct. I'm not sure uphill's the choice either. So it's just kind of going on.
Anyway,
it's like a rainbow road from Mario Kart. But sorry that we've derailed.
Anyway, Alex Romero is with a guy and talking about polygraphs.
And he wants to polygraph Norman off the record. And, like, not cool first. But he's also not going to use it in court because they can't be used in court anymore.
But also, like, again, maybe I'm just seeing things that aren't there because I'm in love with toxic men. But he seems to be doing it for, like, his own conscience.
Well, he is, but like, that's still
because he's not going to change the fact that somebody got arrested, but, like, he needs to know for himself if he made a mistake in arresting the other guy.
And that's a totally fair feeling. This is not the correct. I was going to say morally this is not the correct approach, but not one thing in this town has morally been a correct approach, so I'm not really sure. Maybe it's fine. It's probably, I mean, he's not killing anyone, so
yeah,
it's probably fine. It's like stealing
he's the
candy.
only character I trust in the whole show.
I mostly trust him.
That's fair.
He's the only one I consider trusting in the show.
Fair enough.
So, we're back at the motel, and this is kind of where we get into our more linear follow through. We're not jumping around as much, so we just had like a few things happen in the beginning. And it's kind of a weird scene. Norma's just like helping these tourists like figure out how to get to the lake. I'm like, you were just having a breakdown, ma'am. Like, also, what? Where did we get from point A to point B?
Carrying that boat was too much for me.
Oh my gosh. I was like, okay, we know you own a motel, but also you live in the sketchiest town and you have tourists who are coming to go boating and whatnot. Like,
Right.
I know there's a marina, fully aware of that.
Yeah.
Still doesn't quite feel like the type of people who are at your motel right now. I think we're just trying to like make this scene seem a little lighter than it is. Which, like, okay. So that was weird.
Yeah.
And then Norman gets a call, and we find out officially that it was Nick Ford who took Norman.
Correct.
And I put, TBH, if he had just killed Norman, everything would be better for everyone, because no one dies after that. I mean, you know, I'm sure like Zayn will die at some point and everything, but like,
Yeah.
the amount of lives and mental states that would have been saved because Norman Bates was no longer on this planet, probably worth it. But that's not what happened.
Yet.
Not yet. And so naturally, Norma goes straight to Dylan because her 22-year-old son is the one who has to protect her and save her from everything.
Okay, but to be fair, Nick literally says, tell Dylan to do what I told him to do. And she doesn't know what he told Dylan to do. She just knows that he told Dylan to do something, and if he doesn't, Norman's going to die. So, like, it's not the worst leap she's ever made.
So it's not the worst leap, but also, like, I'm not a mom, as I have made very clear. But I feel like I still would not want to put my 22-year-old son in what I am 100% certain is going to be a dangerous situation.
Probably not, but like I might still go there to find out what it is that was asked of him.
Do that.
Like if it was just like we need to have a conversation, unfortunately that's not where she goes with that.
No.
But I do have to say, when she does immediately go to Dylan, Remo's reaction to her at the door might be one of my favorite moments of the whole episode. Because
go ahead.
He's just so amused by her.
I know. It's like, your mom's here. It's like, she's kind of losing it.
It looks like it might be important.
Yeah, it looks like it could be important. Yeah, you think? And so Norma's just like, yeah, Dylan, what's he want from you? And he's like, he wants me to kill my boss. And she's like, yeah, you got to do that. He's like, I'm sorry, you want me to just go kill someone? She's like,
I was like, Norma is just like so ready to fucking kill Zayn without even like thinking about it. She's like, cool.
She don't even know who he is.
She's like, done. She's like, murder, done. We can do it.
No problem.
No,
So,
thank you.
Dylan's next step is to follow up with Jody, who's already told him it's fine. She's like, go ahead and kill my brother. And he's like, great. Tell me where he is. And I was like, man, what a thing to be on the shoulders of a 22-year-old. Could you imagine?
But like the way he did that, the way he talked to her in that scene, I don't like that edge on him. That was not attractive.
I also didn't, but I took it a lot as like, he is literally on the verge of insanity based on where he's like he is about to have
no, for sure. Like I didn't blame him, but I was just like, oh, I don't like the direction we're headed.
Yeah. And I think that's how it's meant to be. I think that's how it's meant to be, because they want to show you just how, because he has been, he's obviously had a few freakouts with the dad and all that or whatever, but like he's relatively stable as a person most of the time. Sometimes he runs over someone who kills his friend. Sometimes he goes and tries to shoot someone in cold blood murder.
Yeah.
For the most part, he's pretty stable though, compared to the rest of the town.
Which is a sentence.
Tis. And next, Alex Romero goes to the motel. And he's chatting it up with Emma while he's looking for Norman. And Emma is about to lose it. She is about to cry.
I literally was like, she's gonna fucking snap. Like, I think she might be the next person to kill somebody at this point.
I think that's possible, but I think she is more on the verge of like, she would kill herself before she'd kill someone else.
Okay.
Because she doesn't have anywhere to go. And a lot of her feelings are self-loneliness and feeling separated from everyone.
Yeah, no, I get that. I do.
I hope that is not her next step, but that is what I think is more likely than her actually killing someone. Um, and Alex sees that Norma's getting home, and he goes, knocks on her door, and he's like, I need to talk to Norman. And she's like, he's sick. It's like, okay, good lie, Norma. Great. And he tells her that he wants to give a polygraph. He's like saying all this, and he's like, BT dub, there was Norman's semen sample was found in Blair Watson. And she's just like, no. He's like, no, that's like not debatable. Like that's
right. Like I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but that's
right.
literally what happened.
Right. And she's like, no, I don't think so. And he's like, yes, it is. And she's like, okay, well, he's super sick right now, but let me talk to him and then you can do whatever.
And for some reason he says okay.
Right. And she's like, he's not gonna run. And he's like, he's not gonna run. And I was like super fair of him to be like, to think that's the first step, because
right,
that's literally all Norma's done her whole life is when things get tough, she runs away and hides from them. And like,
yes.
So yeah. And then she goes inside and her panic and anxiety has spiraled more than it has.
That was like really hard to watch.
It was, because she like that looked more like a legit full-on panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't breathe, she couldn't talk, she couldn't stand, she was just trying to catch her breath.
Yeah.
And couldn't do it.
Is that at your street?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was on mine, and I was like, I don't see anything.
It's right outside my window. I see the lights. I don't know where they're going.
Ooh, love it.
So we might give that a second. Please continue on. Come on. Okay. Do you think it's far enough away?
I think so. I can't hear it.
Okay, good. So anyways, where was I? Oh, and I was like, this is the first like real version panic attack we've seen her have. And I'm honestly shocked it took this long, because I would be having panic attacks every day in this town. Like with the things they're going through, I would not have made it this far. It just wouldn't have happened.
Right.
And she leaves Norman. She calls Norman, leaves him a voicemail, and she's just like, I love you no matter what happens. And I was like, that's ominous. What is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
What are you setting up for? Because that is not good. And then we have one of the creepier scenes in the episode. And Norman, still in the box,
yeah,
is quoting a movie. And
I have a note. I said, what is Norman quoting? Because I wanted to know if you had looked at it, could look it up and tell me what it was.
I did. It is Meet John Doe. And I had every intention of Googling what it was about and did not. So, but it is a direct quoted scene from Meet John Doe. And while he's in the middle of all of this, they finally open the box to give him food and water. And I was like, great. They're not going to kill him because they're not going to let him starve or dehydrate. And as soon as everyone turns their back, he takes off. And I was like,
my note says worst prison guards ever, honestly. Like,
truly.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Right. And I was like, at least he's like in the right mindset enough to try and run.
Right.
Like, he must have come out of his dissociation at that point. I guess the food kicked him out of it. But yeah, and as soon as he runs, they catch him again, because naturally he's weak and beaten up. You know, I mean, didn't think he was gonna make it, but it was a good A for effort. I would also have tried to do that rather being put back in a box.
Correct.
But next, because of this attempted escape, in his pockets, they have found Blair Watson's pearls and her picture from the paper.
I just wrote nope, 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 shit.
I was like, why on earth did he even keep this in his pocket? He should have put it back in his bed under his mattress before he started walking around the house. Like he's done every other time. So that's not good. We know that's not going to go well.
No.
And
No.
we go back to the Bates house, and this is kind of a sad scene. Emma gives 2 weeks notice. And
Well, wait, hold on. Doesn't it start with Norma like passed out in Norman's bed and then knocking on the door for like an excessive time?
yes.
And I had no idea who was at the door.
I didn't either. I was assuming it was going to be like Nick Ford, or maybe Dylan was coming to like update her on how things were going. Emma was not who I expected.
No.
And
Wait. No, I lied. The excessive knocking was later. It was when Alex came.
oh yeah, you're right. When he burst in.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah, so Emma's giving her 2 weeks notice, and she is like having a breakdown while she's doing it.
Yeah.
And Norma is like, oh, I didn't want that to happen. And then she's just like, well, I just don't feel included. I thought I was becoming family, and now I'm not. And Norma's just like, good to know. And it's like,
she's like, we'll miss you. Bye.
right. It's like, at this point, it's so sad for poor Emma, because she, first of all, like you said, doesn't have a mother, and she feels like she's finally had a motherly figure in Norma, which is sad in itself. But like now she's like being disowned by the woman.
Right. What I wrote, this is heartbreaking, but also like it's so much better for Emma to get out now. Like get out now before your life is ruined.
1000%. And I don't know that she's not too far in already, but
right. But I think about like
she doesn't know anything yet.
I think about the times that like in terms of like not family per se, but like in terms of like friend breakups or like like romantic breakups where I was like, I don't belong here, I don't feel fit in, and it was the worst thing and the hardest thing, and everything about it was awful. But at the end of the day, it was the best thing I ever did for like myself. I saw that so much, and I was like, no, Emma, I know it sucks right now. I know her response is not a response, but thank God, so you can leave.
Right. Like it's so much better for her that it goes this way, for sure. Yeah. And so Norma, in her non-responsive state, just goes back inside and calls Nick Ford. And she's just like, yeah, we're going to take care of this. And we go to Nick Ford's office, and the guy who's been watching Norman is giving him Blair stuff.
I was like, this is too much. I can't do it. I can't take the show anymore. I'm going to have a panic attack.
That was the most drawn out, effectively scene, because it didn't feel overdone, but it made you feel so icky and
but
like
also like, and part of it was that you didn't know. Like I, at the end of that scene, did not know what Nick Ford thought or felt or anything. Like I uncomfortable on every level of discomfort that there is. It was unbearable.
Well, it's like you have that tension built up this whole time, and you're waiting for the shoe to drop to figure out what's going to happen, and then it doesn't.
Oh,
nothing
God.
happens. It's like you can't let go of the tension. It's like you just are there now. And not any better. We go back to the box, and things just get worse. There are bugs crawling all over him. It's starting to rain. And I put, this is the time for the full-on Norma dissociation. And then I put a note that's a spoiler, so I'm not going to talk about it. So it's not actually related. It was just a thought I had. Okay. But yeah, and so he is having a real rough time in the box.
Okay. I had a problem while he was dissociating in the box. And it was because he was dissociating and picturing Norma telling him that you're never alone, and whenever you're scared, you just hear my voice and listen to me say that it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that bothered me is that is a perfectly reasonable thing for a parent to say if that parent is not Norma Bates.
Right? That's what you should tell your kids as a
And
parent.
then I was like, I don't, but then hearing her say it, I was like, no, I'm never going to be able to say that to my kid. Like,
Yeah, that's
no, I am so uncomfy.
I know. I know. It really sets up a parent-child dynamic in a way that is not healthy
No,
and
nothing
very
is healthy.
uncomfortable,
Nothing
which
is
is
healthy.
basically
Everything is wrong.
the
I
rest
hate
of this
it.
episode. But so we go back to Dylan, who is on his way to kill Zane. He's trying really hard to follow through and save Norman.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's going to use the Trojan horse approach, which adds up. He's like, I'm going to bring you groceries, I'm going to come inside, and then I'm going to kill you. But Zane, unfortunately, is a lot smarter than we give him credit.
I literally go, Zane is not as stupid as he looks, apparently.
Right. Unfortunately, he's actually pretty smart. So he immediately unloads Dylan's gun and has him like pat it down and like doesn't let his like guards leave him and all this stuff. And he's very straightforward with Dylan. He knows what's going on. He knows that Dylan's gonna try and kill him, and he's like, I know you're trying to pick sides between me and Jody. And he's like,
well, and that confused me because I was like, is Jody secretly actually working with the Ford family?
no, I think it's just a struggle for power in this one family.
Okay.
I think that's all it is. Because, I mean, Jody's been in the background for ages of this family.
Yeah.
And it only became a problem when Zane was in charge, not when Gil was in charge. So I think it's just a power struggle for the top because they have such different approaches. Zane's are insane, and Jody's are more normal for a crime family, if you can call it that. Normal.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, so I think that's all it is. And she knows that in order to go back to the way things were, he's going to have to die. And he also knows that that's probably what she thinks. And so he prepares fairly well. But then he's like telling him, he was like, okay, he was like, go back to Jody, tell her I said thanks for the groceries, and tell her she's got to get rid of Nick Ford. It's like, okay, we've already tried this once and it didn't work.
Right.
And I also was like, Dylan's gonna have to blow up that entire house to kill Zane because there's no way he's getting past those guards. Correct. And if he does, staying alive. Like, in order for him to be living, he's going to have to burn down the entire place.
But then when he just kind of like took his gun and left and like gave up, I was like, I should have known he didn't have it in him.
I know. I mean, good.
Like, am I glad that he is not murderous? Yes. But like, should have known he did not have that in him.
Right. So he's not actually capable of running a crime family. He's okay at being a right-hand man because he's more stable than everyone else, but he's never going to be good at running a crime family.
No.
If he can't shoot someone in cold-blooded murder, which is good on a moral level, bad on a crime family level.
Correct.
So then we are once again back to Emma and Norma, who are chatting up. Emma's like getting ready to leave, and lo and behold, George shows up with flowers. It's like, okay, fine. And George is trying to like be super flirty and like talk with Norma and like be all over her. Mm-hmm. And she goes off on him because she is not doing well.
Okay, before that, the way Emma acted when she was leaving made me think that Emma knows more. Like, Emma is planning something. She knows something, and I'm stressed out about it. Which is why Sweet Baby Angel is officially off of my people I trust list.
I think she's planning something, but I don't know that she knows more. But I think the fact that she doesn't know is making her plan something. So
she has been
find out.
She has been knocked off of my people I trust list.
I mean,
which now leaves the list at Dylan and Alex, and that's it.
Yeah, because I trust Dylan's character.
I don't trust that Dylan's not going to fuck up and do something stupid, but like I trust that his heart's in the right place.
I trust that he's doing what he says he's going to do, and he's going to stay true to his character.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas every other character is
and
not.
Alex is guarded and might have motives that we don't understand yet, but he hasn't seemed to do anything that is like intentionally deceptive.
Everything he's done has been to keep the balance so far.
Yeah,
it hasn't been to.
He's absolutely the chaotic neutral.
Yes,
except for that more. No, actually, he's more lawful neutral. But
is he though? Because he doesn't follow the law.
No, that's true. He like tries to keep the he's chaotic neutral. He's absolutely chaotic neutral.
He just wants to keep the balance in this town, whether it's legal
because it's not good or evil, and it's just
what it is.
What it is.
Yep. Exactly. So Norma tells George that he's from a group of fake people and their fake clothes and all this stuff. And I was like, you are not incorrect, but I'm not sure exactly where you're coming from in all of this.
Here's the thing. I'm kind of team George right now.
No, I mean, I am in this specific instance.
Because he's dating this woman. He's schmoozing her. She's a little bit crazy, but like he's being respectful. She comes to my house, says she wants me, starts ripping my clothes off in my front door. The next day, I do a gentlemanly thing of get her flowers and try to give her a kiss, and she starts screaming at me about how I'm useless and I don't understand her and I don't know her and my family sucks and my friends suck and I suck. When he was like, cool, you want me to leave? I'm fucking done. Same dude.
Yeah.
Same. I was like, zero. I get that she's stressed out. She's having a bad day. But since she refuses to be the one to open up and she's making him feel like it's his problem, I'm outie too. Outie fucking 5,000. I'm done.
I think she was right for the wrong reasons. I don't think she knows all of the things she's saying, but I do think they're fake people. I think she was just doing it to be hurtful.
Agreed. And, no, I'm not saying that George is a good person.
Right.
But absolutely, if I was dating somebody and they talk to me like that, fucking done. Out.
Yeah, no.
Peace out.
You're out of there.
Not. Nope.
So naturally, she immediately tries to apologize, which doesn't work because good on him.
Then shady bitch 300 Emma sneaks in and is like, "Oh, it's okay. I'm here for you now."
She comes out of nowhere.
I am your family. That's almost as creepy, like incesty as Norma is.
Yeah, it's almost the same type of manipulation. It is the same type of manipulation as Norma is.
Mm-mm.
So
sneaky bitch 300. That's her new name. I don't trust her. I don't trust her at all.
SB3, she is. Then we go to the what I'm gonna assume is the infamous scene in the show, Nick Ford's house.
Okay, just real quick, that exterior shot. I want that fucking house. Like, what the fuck was that?
I know. It's nice, yeah. The only good thing that's happening. Dylan shows up to tell him that he's been unsuccessful. And I was like, I mean, he's kind of doing it the right way. He's being very upfront and honest. He's not really putting himself in danger to be killed less danger than he would have been if he just completely lied about it.
Well, and here's the thing. He's like, he doesn't say, I'm not going to help you. He says, I tried. I can't do it alone. This is the information that you need to make sure that this happens. And if you supply me with people, I will still make sure it's done. But I can't get my people involved in this and fuck up the whole hierarchy of my people.
Right. He's like, he was like, I can tell. He like gave them the address. He like clearly is still on Nick's side about getting Zane out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then all hell breaks loose. Nick says, we're going to go outside. He pulls out a gun. And then when he moves around the desk, they jump on each other and start fighting. And Dylan pulls out a knife and straight up kills Nick Ford.
Oh, no, it's worse than that. He doesn't pull out a knife. He grabs the fireplace poker from Nick's fireplace and fucking whacks him across the face with it. And I was like, oh, damn.
And straight up kills him and doesn't get Norman's whereabouts, which was the whole goal.
Facts.
So, as we'll see, Norman is still in a box in unknown areas.
Also, like, what the fuck's gonna happen? Nick Ford is fucking dead.
And this makes me wonder, is Dylan going towards Zane's side? Because that was Zane's plan the whole time, was nothing else but to get Nick Ford out of the way. And Jody said, we can't do that. And she said it was okay to get Zane out of the way. And while he was not set up for success to get Zane out of the way.
I mean, and like, I worry about what it means for Dylan and for Zane and Jody with Nick Ford gone, but like that entire town, what's going to happen to Norma? What's going to happen to the city council and George and his fucking crazy sister and Dylan and Norman and Alex? Like, what the fuck?
I think George and Christine are going to be next in line to take over this crime family.
We still don't even know if those are his kids. That's just your theory.
That's just my theory that I'm going to keep saying until I am proven right or wrong.
Man.
So,
like, how does Alex keep the balance now with Nick Ford fucking dead?
We'll never know. I don't know. So we talked about how we thought there'd be a lot more deaths in this episode, in this season, and there really were not that many deaths.
But the ones that there were
biggest death.
Big.
And this is the biggest one we've had so far.
Yeah.
I mean, Blair was big, you know, it was what's his face?
Zach was pretty big too.
Yeah, but Nick Ford, game changer. He sets not only their small family on edge, the whole town is now like in disarray. Whew. So next chaotic event, we go back to the Bates house. This is where Norma was lying in Norman's bed, and there's banging on the door for ages, and she finally pops down, and it's Alex. And he is trying to bust in. And
I didn't know who it was. I was so freaked out. Then when I figured out it was Alex, I was even more stressed out because I was like, dude, we found out that Nick is dead that fast? Oh, no. I can't.
So this is why I thought it was Dylan who was knocking on the door at first, because I was like, he ran to Norma when he committed a murder that he knew was going to cause a lot of consequences.
But he didn't.
Didn't.
Where did he go?
To Zane?
To Jody? Like, I don't
know if he'd go to Jody, though. I think he might have gone to Zane.
Like, I think in terms of who he should go to, I would say Norma, just because she has experience with covering up murders.
True.
Next, I would go to Remo.
1,000%. 1,000. That is what I was going to say.
But I think you might be right. Like, I think it might be Zane.
Because this is kind of the way that even if he didn't go there with the intention of killing Nick Ford, he's now done what Zane wanted almost immediately after Zane asked for it to happen, which, if nothing else, makes it look like Dylan would be his right-hand man now, who follows through on his dirty work. We flipped the script, and he's no longer following through on Jody's, but he's following up on Zane's.
Oh.
And I do not think that him working with Zane is endgame, but I do think it could end up being a circumstance.
Yeah. The worst is this shit show is not even the most fucked up thing to happen in this episode.
It's not. Because in this scene, before we get to the worst scene, we learn she tells Alex that Norman's been kidnapped by Nick Ford. She tells him everything that's going on, and
she tells him about Dylan and about his boss and about Nick Ford and Norman being kidnapped. And Alex is like, why the fuck didn't you tell me?
And he's like, all right, I have to fix this. And just goes
and she's like, how? And he goes, by never answering that question. Stop asking me that. Just let me do it.
Yeah. He's like, do you not understand how this works by now? I just take care of it and it's fixed. and you stay out of it. That's the only way it gets fixed correctly, because when you're in it, you just mess everything up. So now, for the reason this episode is the episode right before the finale, we go back to the box.
The Johan Price moment. That's his name, Johan Price.
Johan Price moment. It is raining in the box. Norman is panicking, and he triggers the memory of the night he killed Blair Watson. And this entire scene was so uncomfy.
It was.
It gave, like, just even thinking about it right now is giving me chills because it's so icky.
I honestly can only think of like the words torture porn. Like that's
100%.
It was so bad.
It was so
bad.
It was so visual for something that's so terrible. And I thought we were going to get a story or flashes, but like we got a full-on flashback of what happened and how he killed Blair and how he was kind of watching himself do it from the outside. It was like, and how his face never changed.
And also proof that like she absolutely incited that.
Absolutely she did. And we knew she did because we knew how she was.
But I'm sorry, but like
killing her.
The actual watching him slit her throat, which they showed, was fucked up.
Yeah.
His face in the mirror, fucked
so
up.
Creepy.
All of that. But for me, the most uncomfortable parts were when she was undoing his pants, and then when they actually showed her like orgasming, because I was just like, the idea of a grown woman feeling that, like I couldn't. It was I'm so uncomfortable.
It was, the entire scene was uncomfortable for sure. Like it was
like when the graphic murder is not the most uncomfortable part of the scene.
Yeah. It was not pleasant.
No.
And then when we see the end of the scene where he slits her throat, we go to this amazing visual portrayal of Norma and his face transitioning back and forth from Norma to Norman. And that was so well done. And it could have been, sometimes it seems like that's a little choppy. It's a little like out of picture, and like the faces look weird. It was seamless. It went back and forth. It was seamless. And that is the end, because he didn't even get out of the box.
No, but he did wake up and realize his memory and then scream in the rain in the box because he figured out that he did it.
Yes. What a time and place. I mean,
trauma boxes.
Trauma boxes. That is, those sound unpleasant.
Do not recommend.
0 stars. Whew. Yep. So that's our episode.
Guys,
it was tragic.
I don't even have words. Don't even have words.
I have a few more that I can give you before we move forward.
Please.
There is no fun trivia because God forbid the show have fun trivia. It's like this many people watched it this week, and every week it says Ian Tracy and the guy who plays Zane. Ian Tracy and the guy who plays Zane, Michael Eklund, were in Continuum. Every week, that's the trivia. And I'm like, I've already said this. I said this one time. I do not need to read it 20 more times. So sorry, but I do have a goof, which I did not notice, but I think is kind of funny.
Okay.
And Alex goes to check Nick Ford's pulse. Nick blinks. The character, he blinks after he's dead.
They showed Alex finding the body?
I felt so. They had a quick scene.
Oh, maybe I was taking a note. I didn't see that.
But yeah, so he blinks. And I was like, of course. And I was like, can you not just like reshoot that scene? Like, but apparently they didn't. They just left it there.
Cool.
Yeah. So, who do you want to punch in the face?
Who do I not want to punch in the face? Honestly, as trivial as it is compared to how fucked up this actual episode was, I'm gonna go with Emma just because this is the first episode that I really, really don't trust her motives.
Fair. I went with Zane. I know
Fair.
that is shocking to no one,
Correct.
but
I mean, it's still valid.
still valid. Yeah, I'm just not stepping out of the box.
The box. I joke because otherwise I'll cry.
Right. Yes.
Who's my
correct.
MVP, Alex?
I mean, I know. My MVP is Dylan because
He fucking murdered Nick Ford.
yeah, but what kind of position was he in? The only reason he did is because he wasn't going to find out where Norman was. And he didn't mean to kill him.
I know he didn't mean to, but like,
he was just put in
man,
a really tough
in terms
situation.
of actions that have fucking consequences, that is the biggest.
But like, if you weren't going to pick Romero, who would you pick as your MVP? Remo, maybe. Pick
Remo. Yeah, I was gonna say Remo made me laugh the one scene he was in.
The like 5 seconds he was in the show.
The lady who had the boat at the hotel. George.
Ugh.
I know we hate George, but like, if in this episode as a standalone, was George a bad guy?
No, not if you separate him from everything else that's ever happened.
Which we kind of have to do to have any MVPs in the show.
Truly, though. I want the best for Dylan, and I feel bad for him. He's 22.
You know, I get it.
And
but
his
like,
brother has been kidnapped and put in a box.
But like, Norman is 17 and he was raped and locked in a box. Granted, he then murdered someone. But
right.
Like, also,
and Dylan didn't start any of these things. He's just trying to figure out where his brother is. Like,
no, you're not. You're not wrong.
You're
not wrong.
So, do you have any predictions?
I predict that nothing is going to feel good at the end. Nothing.
I am predicting that the spoiler I read about is going to happen next episode.
Oh, I couldn't imagine that the spoiler would be what happens.
Well, I read about it in season 1.
Oh.
And it didn't say when it was going to happen. But I am predicting it's the season 2 finale.
Okay.
And I predict that Norman will be released from the box. Oh, this was one of my thoughts. I wondered, I know that we saw that creepy cabin or like that outhouse or whatever when Emma and
in
Norman
the beginning,
the very beginning. I was like, I wonder if that's the same woods that he's buried in, and Emma's the one that's somehow going to stumble upon him.
Oh,
she's the only one who really has been out in the woods with him. Other than people that work out there.
I don't hate that at all, actually.
Yeah, and I know like it was kind of infringing like on the Jody Zane crime family's weed farm. But it was like, I think it was so far enough away that it could have been Nick Ford territory, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't hate that at all.
I wonder how that's going to go down. Okay. And I wonder if Norman is going to confess to Alex what actually happened now that he remembers.
Oh. Huh.
A lot of thoughts going on in my head.
Can't imagine that he will.
I don't know. Especially if he does this polygraph.
Well, that's what
think
I
he's
was
breaking.
before the end of the episode. I was having thoughts about the fact that if they did a polygraph, he wouldn't be lying when he says that he doesn't know what happened because he didn't. Like it wasn't a
Right.
lie.
So I thought that too
Then
until now, because now he knows.
shit though. But like, how is he gonna look at his mom when he knows that she knows and knew the whole time?
Not well.
Fuck.
I am so insanely stoked that next week is our season finale for both shows.
I know.
I
No.
literally I finished both of these episodes last night and I was like, you cannot watch the others yet. You
I
have not
know.
recorded.
Literally, I was mad at the end of the Stargate episode, and my mom was like, "Just watch the next one," and I was like, "I can't." And she goes, "Yeah, but it's a to be continued, and you don't have a lot
That's
of notes
not how it
anyway.
goes.
So like, just keep going, do 2 at once." And I was like, "Mom." But then I watched this one today, and I was like, if I didn't have so many emails to send, I don't know that I could press stop.
It was hard. It was hard.
But also, like, I need a shower after watching that. But like in a full
Seven.
bathing suit because I don't want to be naked.
Right. Fair. Ugh.
Ew.
Ick.
Gross. I hate everything.
Yeah, me too. So if you also hate everything or have predictions how the finale is going to go, thoughts, need therapy, whatever, you can email us at deathandaliens@gmail.com. You can find us on all the social media at Death and Aliens. And maybe if we find it, I will post my picture of my planchette there, and we'll post a picture of MK's Black Widow outfit.
Yes.
We'll see.
We'll
We can't
see.
remember.
Both of those have to be found.
Yes. And you can follow me at CECloud13 and listen to my Marvel rants on Twitter.
And you can follow me everywhere at EMKAY_superstar and listen to me have sappy bullshit about being in love because it's weird and I don't like it, but I post about it all of the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
All right. We love you. We'll see you on Sci-Fi Sunday for our finale of Stargate Season 1.
What?
See ya.
Bye.